Welcome back to another Bible study. My name is Joseph and this is Panem Project. And in this video, we'll be looking at John chapter 6, verse 16 to 21. So if you have your Bible, let's open to John chapter 6. Jesus walks on water. When evening came, his disciples went to the sea, got into a boat, and started across the sea to Capernaum. It was now dark, and Jesus had not yet come to them.
When evening came, Jesus' disciples went down to the lake, got into a boat, and went back across the lake towards Capernaum. Night came on, and Jesus still had not come to them.
The story of Jesus walking on water constituted the fifth sign in John's Gospel, designed to demonstrate the writer's purpose that Jesus is the Messiah and Son of God. The miracle demonstrates Jesus' deity by his sovereignty over the laws of nature. Matthew 14:22 and Mark 6:45 indicate that as soon as Jesus had fed the multitudes, he immediately dismissed his disciples to travel west toward Capernaum. The sea became rough because a strong wind was blowing. The Sea of Galilee is almost 700 feet below sea level. Cooler air from the northern mountains and southeastern tablelands rushes down into the lake and displaces the warm, moist air, causing violent churning of the water.
By then a strong wind was blowing and stirring up the water.
When they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and coming near the boat, and they were frightened. The synoptics reveal that in fear and the darkness, they thought he was a ghost. The Son of God who made the world was in control of its forces, and in this case, he suspended the law of gravity. The act was not frivolous on Jesus' part, for it constituted a dramatic object lesson to the disciples of Jesus' true identity as the sovereign Lord of all creation.
The disciples had rowed about 3 or 4 miles when they saw Jesus walking on the water. Coming near the boat, and they were terrified.
But he said to them, "It is I, do not be afraid." Then they were glad to take him into the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land to which they were going. This wording indicates that another miracle occurred beside walking on the water. The boat miraculously and instantly arrived at its precise destination as soon as Jesus stepped into the boat.
Don't be afraid. It is I.
Then they willingly took him into the boat. And immediately the boat reached land at the place they were heading for.
The disciples, terrified, probably thought they were seeing a ghost or apparition. But if they had thought about all they had already seen Jesus do, they should not have been surprised by this miracle. They were frightened. They didn't expect Jesus to come this way, and they weren't prepared for his help. Jesus said to his disciples, "I am here." His words are possibly an allusion to the name for God that God gave to Moses. Jesus was revealing his identity to the disciples again. When we believe, we have a mindset that expects God to act. When we act on this expectation, we can overcome our fears. The Sea of Galilee is 690 feet below sea level, 150 feet deep, and surrounded by hills. These physical features make it subject to sudden windstorms that caused extremely high waves. Such storms would have been expected on this lake, but they were nevertheless frightening. When Jesus came to the disciples during a storm walking on the water, 3.5 miles from shore, he told them not to be afraid. We often face spiritual and emotional gales and rough waves and feel tossed about like a small boat on a big lake. Despite terrifying circumstances, if we trust our lives to Jesus for his safekeeping, he will give us peace in any storm. Alright, so that concludes the section of Jesus walking on water. If you have any other thoughts regarding these verses, please leave that in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and hit the bell so you can be notified when we post a new video. Love you all. Peace.